You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, as always, we put Ghana first. I'm Samson Yanini. And here is my take. The OSP is special. It is upon the fight against corruption that we may forge ourselves a decent existence. That is Kisie Jabing, the special prosecutor's philosophy. The corruption fight is a collective one for our individual and collective good as a people and a nation. In Article 25(8) of the Constitution, quotes, the state shall take steps to eradicate corrupt practices and the abuse of power, end quote. It seemed a lost cause to an extent. A country that needs $3 billion from the IMF to save its economy from collapse is unable to account for same amount each year due to corruption. The Auditor General provided evidence of lost or stolen money 2016 to 2020, which is more than twice the IMF bailout. That's why we decided we needed an arrangement, special and different from those that have failed us. If there is nothing special or different about the OSP, then it is a needless addition to start with. It is, in fact, what it will be a needless extra burden on the taxpayer and a needless addition to the bureaucracy to start with. The Office of Special Prosecutor in July 2022 was stopped from freezing assets of popular MPP guru Sir John, essentially because there was neither a pending charge against him nor a warrant for his arrest before his death. The OSP is in the courts of appeal fighting this. It insists that, like Kwejo Owusu-Friye said, John, whose will contained property that belonged to the state, money suspected to be stolen from the state ought not be lost because a governor of the central bank stole it but was caught after his death, i.e., he was not caught before his death. The OSP in June was stopped from arresting and investigating Charles Cromwell Nanabeyin Bisu, at least for 10 days. Well, the suspect, who secured this order on the blind side of the OSP, soon surrendered. The OSP had declared him a wanted man. I look to reading the basis of that decision by the court. But imagine a murder suspect or someone pursued over terrorism by an investigative authority running to the court for cover. How is justice to be done if such suspect absconds under such judicial cover, however limited? The OSP last week was stopped from seizing suspicious money found in former Minister Cecilia Abena-Dape's home and freezing her bank accounts. This was not only because the OSP was allegedly 7 days and in the other situation 14 days late to court, but for other reasons, especially that the OSP had not done investigations but was playing to public sentiments. It may have been 7 days late for confirmation of the seizure, but it clearly was not 14 days late for confirmation of the freezing order. I ask, how can the 7 days ultimatum for confirmation of seizure mean it should come to court each time it discovers a single suspicious item within a brief period of commencing investigations? It means even if, as in this case, it took 2 weeks searching 3 separate houses of the suspect. Is that what it means? Section 38 of the OSP law empowers the SP to direct the freezing of property if he deems it necessary to facilitate investigations. And he must, within 14 days, get a court order to confirm this administrative freezing. The person suspected of corruption or corruption-related offense may be giving some of his money to cater for reasonable living expenses and those of his dependents and to run his business. But he or she will get everything back if the OSP does not prefer a specific charge against him within 60 days in case of a confirmed seizure and within 12 months over a freezing order. How? And I ask, it clearly appears that the person suspected of corruption in this case has their human rights clearly protected. One thing is clear: these judicial confirmations are to aid or facilitate investigations. This means the OSP at this stage may not know and does not have to know if the seized or frozen money or asset is actually tainted by corruption. It must only have a reasonable suspicion that it is and not be required to prove anything ahead of its investigation. Section 41A and F tells a court that it is a clear case of putting the cart before the horse to make such a demand of the OSP at a time he has commenced investigation to prove or show evidence of the investigation or why a particular account or asset is tainted. These are what make the office of the special prosecutor special. These are what make it special and different from the others. While the IOCO and their law makes these applications ex parte with elaborate requirement for seizure and freezing for dealing with economic crimes, the OSP by law makes these applications on notice to persons suspected of corruption, which often may be more difficult to prove. If confirmation of seizure and freezing applications by IOCO and the FIC, the Financial Intelligence Center of the Bank of Ghana, are almost always granted by bench rulings, that is on the spot, while all such applications by the OSP so far have been decided days after the applications are argued, with many pages of a ruling. What is special about the OSP? That's my question. It should not be difficult to appreciate the special arrangement for the OSP. A corruption investigation or prosecution is pointless if suspects have the opportunity to conceal, destroy, or dissipate evidence of the plunder. The OSP must be what the law makes it: special. In Section 2 of Act 959, it is mandated not only to investigate and prosecute, recover proceeds of corruption, but also to do the onerous job of preventing corruption. How can it do that? And that is my take. Thanks for your indulgence. I'll be right back to introduce my guest, and we get into the serious matters for discussion today.